everybody, we're live. Hey, it's Patricia Dacre with my company Dragonfly Lights, and I bring you programs called Dealing with Your Diabetes. And Monday is my kind of preview day of what I'm going to be talking about for the week. So I try to come on and give you a little overview of what the subject matter is, and it's what I'm going to be talking about in my blog tomorrow, and this link will be there as well. So this week is the last of my five-part series about the things I coach on and my perspective and beliefs about better ways to live with diabetes. So the 5 pillars are education. So I absolutely 100% believe that we have to understand the disease that we're battling. Got that, right? And we have that in spades from our medical community. As a registered nurse, that's all we focused on, patient education, right? So that's done. We're going to talk about that. Number 2 is talking about your emotions. And so a lot of your behavior is driven by your emotions, and there's actually loss and grief associated with the diabetes diagnosis. It's hard. And so really understanding how you deal with those things is important. Number 3 is motivation, and why you decide to do what you do, right? Why do we do all the things? Why? There's so many things that we'd like to do and maybe we don't do them. So why? We know better, right? It's not that simple. So there's much more to it. And then the fourth one is communication. So how we talk, how we tell others what we need, what we feel, what we're thinking. It's very important. And again, I think it's kind of foundational to how our healthcare system works. It's all about communication. So that's the last one, or that's the fourth one. The one I'm talking about today is about ownership. And this is one that it rocks my socks. I think it's just the best way to be empowered, to take control, to not feel bad. It's kind of like when you own something, you know, if you buy a car, you buy a house, you buy a new piece of clothing, it means so much more because it's yours. And that's really kind of the heart of what we talk about with ownership. What else do I want to tell you? So a little bit about ownership and how that plays in with coaching. So I am a nurse coach, and what that means is that I work with people not on telling them what to do or figuring out better ways. Coaching is much like in baseball, where I'm helping you play the game better. So I am an outside person with expertise and some skills and some ideas about ways that you might be different or live different or do things different. But I'm going to help you figure out what works for you, because I can't come tell you this is how to live your life. That's how we do it pretty much in healthcare today. Our doctor says, do this, and we try, and at least for me and most people I talk with, it doesn't work that well because it's not how we think, how we feel, what our belief system is, right? So coaching is taking all that together and helping you to understand and come up with ways that tap into who you are as a person and what motivates you, what drives you, and then how we can choose. And so I think it's a lot about choice, how we choose to do what we do. So your diabetes, so this is paramount. This is the opposite, I think, of what medical care tells us. Medical care says you have diabetes and therefore you must do all these things, and they tell you what to do. I firmly believe I own it. It's mine. It's my decision. I deal with it every day. If I do good, I win. If I do bad, I lose. And there's a lot of people that might give me ideas and suggestions and wish I did things, but at the end of the day, I decide when I check my blood sugar. I decide how I'm going to put my pump on. I decide what food I do. I decide what insulin I take or how many medications I take, all that stuff. So at the end of the day, I am responsible for me. And that sounds kind of scary, but on the other hand, it is so freeing because it's my choice. So it's not what the doctor says I should do. I may or may not do that. It just depends on how well I receive their offering. And sometimes I don't like it. So you got to say, okay, that didn't work. Let's try something else. But it's yours, right? And if that's where that ownership comes in, and with ownership, what's mine is good and what I own is better, right? So if I own this thing and I'm responsible and I make the choices, then I'm not feeling victimized. I'm not feeling like somebody's pushing something down my throat and like I'm hating something, because that's just a heavy, hard, we talk a lot about that, the emotional side, about living with hard emotions. It's a choice. Let's see what else. So another aspect of ownership is person-centered care. I'm a huge fan. I have fought the medical system for this for almost 30 years. So as a clinician, when I was, prior to being diagnosed, what doctors and nurses did is we looked at you, we got information, we figured things out, and then we gave you orders. It's actually called a doctor's order. Do this, don't do that, do it this way, don't do it that way, right? And so it's very much that you're just a cog in the wheel and the medical system is what's turning and moving. I think that's wrong. I think I am the person in the middle of the cog, just like you are. And we have doctors, nurses, pharmacists, diabetes educators, spouses, family, coworkers, this whole system, friends, a system of people that we're in the middle, and they are impacted by our diabetes. They have to support us at some point, but it's ours, right? We're in the middle. And so we are not playing victim to what somebody else needs, somebody else wants, what our doctor tells us to do that we might not be able to do. And I'm not advocating being, anti-doctor. That's not it at all, but it has to work. It has to make sense for your religion, for your culture, for your lifestyle, for your job. We have to figure this out. And that's really what that person-centered care is, that you're in the middle. It's your life. And at the end of the day, you get to decide whether you ever go see that doctor again. You get to decide what you put in your mouth. You get to decide if you check your blood sugar or not, unless you're a kid, right? There might be somebody else helping you with that. But it is about you in the middle and finding resources and people that you need. And that's what ownership is, kind of going back to the homeowner analogy. If you're a homeowner, you get to decide what plumber you use, what color you paint your house. It's yours. And obviously your body is yours, right? Let's see, so person-centered care, big advocate. And the last piece I'll talk about a little bit is self-care. So self-care is not selfish. And this one was so hard for me. This was not anything that came naturally to me or that was easy, because I grew up in a place and a time where you worry about others. I'm a nurse, right? It's not about me. And we nurses are classic for, I don't have time to go to the bathroom. I haven't eaten. I haven't slept for days. We do all these crazy things in service of others. And I think there's so many people out there that are similar, right? So it's all about somebody else. How can I help? How can I serve? What do I do for my kids, my family, my job, all these different people. When you have diabetes, you have to put yourself first. So, and if you don't, diabetes will certainly remind you. So, there's so many times I can't even count where I got this, I'm handling it, I'm fine, I don't need to worry about it. And your blood sugar drops to in the 40s. And guess what? You do have to worry about it, and everything else becomes secondary. And so to fight that mindset becomes really challenging. But you have to take care of yourself. So if that means figuring out a schedule for working out. So I do yoga 3 days a week. I hardly ever miss. It's something I love. It's something I can do. I schedule around it, and it's a gift to me. At this point in my life, I really am not going to go out and lift a bunch of weights and do crazy things. I'm going to find ways to be limber, be strong, be healthy, mentally and physically. That's my choice, and it's taking care of me. Do I do it 100%? No, never. But 99% of the time, I'm doing that. So there's exercise, there's diet, there's food choices, and those are things that I choose because I want it, right? So, I don't know what that means. Somebody's trying to wave at my video. Hi. So anyway, so going back to self-care isn't selfish. It's about you, and you have to take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, nobody else will. People can love you, people can support you, people can do a lot of different things, but you at the end of the day have to be responsible for you. And if that means if you take care of yourself, you're a better spouse, you're a better family member, whether you're a parent or child or whatever that relationship looks like, aunt, uncle, you're a better worker when you take care of yourself. It's so hard to do, so hard to do. So that's one of those things that as an owner, if you own a home, you're going to spend a little bit more time and effort to keep the house up, right? If your sink's leaking, you're not just going to ignore it. So think of that homeowner analogy when you think about your diabetes and your relationship to the situation. Again, you own it, your house, your body, your decisions, and you're spending your money, right? It's costly. So think about that ownership. You are entitled, and you have the right and permission to take care of you. So if you are struggling with that, that's what I do. I help people figure it out, and it's really fun. It's not hard. Coaching is really, really satisfying to me to help people figure out what they like to do and what they don't like to do. If you're curious, I love curious. Curious is a great word. I offer a 30-minute consultation, so you can just schedule on my calendar. It's a quick phone call. We can talk, see what's going on with you, and take it from there. And then also I'm offering an early adopter for my home video coaching. So I am putting together, I'm almost done, they're coming out of the studio right now, but I have a series of 25 home coaching videos grouped in my 5 pillars. And so you watch a little video and then you do these home coaching activities to really dive into some of the topics I talk about. And so I can take you so far, and then you've got to kind of uncover some of the pieces that you like. If you're interested in the videos, I have an early adopter program. So you can go to my website, dealingwithyourdiabetes.com, go to products, you'll see the home coaching, and you can sign up there. I'll put links below as well. And also for the 30-minute call. So those are just great ways to get involved, to connect, to see what I'm talking about, if it makes sense for you. And then also subscribe. So if you're at the website, hit the subscribe button. You'll get this video sent to you in your email along with my blog, inspirations. I find news articles, different medical stuff, things that I think are interesting and that you might want to know about. So I would love if you would hang out with me on social media. So, okay, that's last of 5-part series. So my 5 pillars: education, emotion and grief, ownership, motivation, and communication. Those are really some skills that if you can build those up, you will become more resilient. And resilient is a skill that has been proven to show higher outcomes in diabetes. So it's that ability to roll with the punches, not get so upset, keep your head in the game, and do what you need to do. Okay, guys, that's it. And whoever's waving at me, I'm having a hard time waving and talking. So thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you soon. Bye.